The peace push to end the war in Ukraine has reached a critical juncture. After months of fighting, the United States, Europe, and Ukraine are trying to rewrite a controversial peace plan, originally proposed by the Trump administration that alarmed Kyiv and European capitals. The original American draft had 28 points. After meetings in Geneva, it has been condensed and refined. While specific details remain under wraps, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the updated framework includes correct elements. But the toughest issues are still unresolved, and he will discuss them directly with President Trump. Several sticking points continue to divide the parties. Territorial concessions. The US plan asks Ukraine to surrender parts of the Donbas region, 11% of territory it still controls. While the areas would be designated demilitarized zones, Ukraine fears giving up land could invite further Russian attacks. European leaders argue negotiations should start with a ceasefire, not territorial concessions. Security guarantees and NATO restrictions. The US proposal promises a decisive coordinated response if Russia attacks again but offers few specifics. It also forbids Ukraine from joining NATO and limits foreign military presence, while Europe seeks a reassurance force to deter Moscow. Limits on Ukraine's military. The American draft caps Ukraine's military at 600,000 personnel compared to Europe's proposed 800,000. Ukraine insists any cap must be paired with long-term Western support, while also highlighting the financial burden of a large peacetime army. Frozen Russian assets. The US wants to use frozen Russian funds for reconstruction and joint US-Russia project. European governments prefer using these assets exclusively to rebuild Ukraine. Alarmed by the initial US draft, European governments developed their own counter-framework. It prioritizes halting fighting along current battle lines. Russia, however, has rejected the European approach as unconstructive.
Ключевые положения плана Трампа основываются на пониманиях, достигнутых в Анкоридже на российско-американской встрече в Верхах в августе нынешнего года. И эти принципы в целом в плане отражены, что мы приветствовали.
Пожалуйста, российская газета.
У нас есть каналы общения с американскими коллегами, они задействуются, и мы от них ожидаем той версии, которую они сочтут как промежуточную с точки зрения завершения фазы согласования этого текста с европейцами и с украинцами. Тогда мы будем смотреть, потому что если там будет выморан дух и буква Анкориджа по тем ключевым пониманиям, которые мы зафиксировали, то, конечно, это будет принципиально другой ситуация. Но пока, повторю, нам ничего никто официально не передавал.
European leaders stress that peace will not happen overnight and that the US must remain aligned with Europe to avoid destabilizing the continent. Even as negotiations progress, fighting continues. A drone strike hit Kharkiv, killing 4 people, while Russia reported shooting down Ukrainian drones near Moscow. Diplomatic efforts are accelerating across multiple locations. US and Russian delegations met in Abu Dhabi, while European, American, and Ukrainian officials held virtual and in-person sessions to clarify remaining points. For Ukraine, compromise is essential, but must not come at the cost of national security. Zelensky says discussions with the United States and European allies aim to strengthen Ukraine without weakening it. The world now watches as diplomacy races to catch up with the realities on the battlefield. The road to peace remains long and uncertain, but with high-level talks underway and a refined framework on the table, the next few weeks could determine whether war-weary Ukraine finds a path to stability or faces continued conflict.